One more time from Belfast. It's time to play for a championship. Winner gets to ring the bell here at the SSE Arena in Belfast, Northern Ireland. It's the championship game of the 2025 Friendship Four, and it pits the Miami RedHawks, one of the nation's best offenses, against the 20th ranked Union Garnet Chargers, one of the nation's best defenses. Hi everybody, Luke West Poley with you here again across the pond in Belfast, Northern Ireland. Thanks so much for tuning in wherever you may be. Yesterday for Miami, a 4-0 win for the RedHawks to stay unbeaten outside of NCHC play this year as Miami dispatched of RIT. Couple of first period goals by Bradley Walker and Ilya Morozov in a start that Anthony Noreen called earlier today one of their best of the season. But a pretty sleepy last couple of periods as a whole. It was played predominantly in the neutral zone. Miami snagged a couple of late empty netters to seal the game. And the RedHawks ultimately cruised to a relatively comfortable 4-0 win over RIT to advance to the Friendship Four Championship. RIT lost earlier this afternoon to Sacred Heart, and the Pioneers took third place. Speaking of those Sacred Heart Pioneers, they were trounced by this Union club yesterday afternoon, as the Garnet Chargers scored a season-high and tournament record 8 goals in an 8-1 win, all 8 unanswered after allowing the first of the game. And again, a team that has mostly been known for their defense, top 5 in the country in goals against average as a squad. Union putting up 8 goals, their most they've done this season, and scored at will. They are also one of the best teams in the country on special teams, both sides of the power play and penalty kill, and made their mark yesterday afternoon. The Garnet Chargers are ranked in the top 20. They occupy the final spot at the moment at 9-3-2 overall, 2-3-1 in ECAC. And taking a look again at how these teams stack up with the performance yesterday, 3.9 goals for the RedHawks per game this season, and that is good enough for top 3 in the country. But this Union club on the other side, 4.1 goals per game after the 8 goals they scored in the game yesterday afternoon. Again, a Union team that only allows 2 goals per game, and additionally one of the best on both sides of special teams, top 10 in the nation in power play and penalty kill. They're 25.8% on the power play this year. Miami faced the second best penalty kill in the country yesterday in RIT, and they will face the third best penalty kill now in the nation in Union tonight. 92.2% for the Garnet Chargers. They've only allowed 4 power play goals this year. Miami scored the 4th power play goal against the RIT Tigers yesterday with Ilya Morozov's first period tally to make it 2-0. Taking a look at the starting goaltender matchups for the RedHawks, it's Mateo Drobak once more as he picked up his second shutout of the season yesterday. 13 games played for him this year. They've all been starts. That's every game for Miami. He's been between the sticks. 3.08 goals against average and an .899 save percentage that climbed up in the win last night as Drobak earned his first shutout since October 11th. And for the Union Garnet Chargers, they have found themselves a nice ad out of the portal. Cameron Corpy, one of the few additions from the University of Michigan, where he spent his freshman year and played in 18 games for the Wolverines. This year, 13 games played, and he's been one of the nation's best goalies. Another guy top 10 in the country in save percentage for Miami. They faced one yesterday, and again, they'll face another tonight. Corpy on the season, 8-3-2, .921 save percentage, a 1.77 goals against average, and 3 shutouts, which is tied for a national best. RedHawks will have their work cut out for them as one of the nation's best offenses trying to score here tonight. We are moments away from puck drop. It is a packed house as the local community has shown out here in Belfast, crowding inside SSE Arena, and we will have the opening festivities for you on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. The championship game of the 2025 Friendship Four is next, and you're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. The 2025 Friendship for Championship game has arrived. The Miami RedHawks and the 20th ranked Union Garnet Chargers meet on this Saturday night from Belfast, Northern Ireland. Lucas Poley with you here for RedHawk Radio. Once again, the starting goaltenders for the Garnet Chargers, Cameron Corpy, the sophomore from South Lyon, Michigan, who transferred in from his hometown Wolverines, gets his 14th start of the year, 8-3-2 record, .921 save percentage, 1.77 goals against average, and again a national leading 3 shutouts for Corpy. For the RedHawks, it's Mateo Drobak again, 14th start, 9-4 record, 3.08 goals against average, and an .899 save percentage for the sophomore from Oakville, Ontario, and transfer from Western. NCHC crew on our game once again tonight, same as yesterday. It is Mike Sheehan and Brian Hankes wearing the bands. Troy Merritt and Eric Frank are the linesmen. Union is in the all-black uniforms with the Garnet text reading Union on the front with a front number. On the back, a Garnet number with white trim and a white name. They've got garnet and white stripes around their sleeves and socks. For Miami, it is the white alternates with the script red Miami across the front, red helmets, red gloves, red pants, and white socks. RedHawks go left to right. Union goes right to left in this first period of play. Garnet Chargers seeking to be the first team in the history of this tournament in its 8th edition to win it twice. Union won at one of the early editions of the Friendship 4, now looking for their second title. This has been a tournament that could springboard you to higher heights. Quinnipiac won it a few years ago on their way to an eventual national title. And both of these teams hoping that it can springboard already strong starts to the season into something greater over the next few months. Eric Frank puts the whistle to his lips, drops the puck down, and we are underway here from Belfast. Settle back and enjoy it as Miami goes in on the attack. A shot sent in from the right side by Ryan Smith, sticked away by Corpy. And that gets us going. Puck pops out into the neutral zone as Miami starts their usual second line, and the RedHawks dump it back in. The puck deflects towards the goal and now is tapped to the near side where Ryan Smith gets locked up for the RedHawks, and it's pulled away for Union by Riley Bruick. Down the far side, chipped into the zone by Connor Smith for the Garnet Chargers. He gets hit hard and loses possession of the puck, and now in comes Helgeson down the left wing. His shot sticked into the boards. Helgeson gets tossed into the end wall. Big hit by a couple of Garnet Chargers that were there. That was Bruick and Buziel for Union, but the Garnet Chargers are unable to clear. Miami has it offensive end. Mateo Giampa flings it across to the left point where a shot sent in by a coin. Stick down by Corpy, still alive in the far corner where it's picked up by Delic. Delic left point for a coin, crossed the way for Phelan on the right side. Phelan throws it intentionally wide into the right corner. Picked up by Giampa, backs all the way out to the right point. Wrists one again intentionally wide. It is flicked on by Morozov, and that's stick down, and now a break the other way for the Garnet Chargers, but they just chip it down as they had tired legs short of the red line, but it will not be icing. And the RedHawks trying to get it back up the ice quickly. Morozov through a tight spot, tucks it into the offensive zone, but he's tacked along the far wall by Colby MacArthur. Top line now out for Union as both teams started what is officially their second lines according to the charts. Out near mid-ice, 2-on-2 rush moving forward for the RedHawks, and it's chipped in by Doug Grimes. He sweeps it to the far side point where McEwen grabs it and goes across for Lalonde. His wrister through traffic, snagged out of the air by Corpy, who saw it cleanly, and he holds on with 18-16 to go in the opening period. Miami with a couple of early chances towards goal, and we have no score. And 8 goals for Union yesterday. That was a season high, besting their previous performance of 7 in a November 14th win over UMass Lowell. But that is now 3 of the last 5 games in which the Garnet Chargers have scored 6 or more goals. They had only done it once prior to that span. Defensive zone face-off win for Union, but they cannot clear once more, and it's Grimes up at the blue line for Miami holding center point. Now to the near side, it's Lukashevich. His wrister blocked in front with the stick by Drew Sutton. He's wrangled to the near wall and cannot clear it again. RedHawks have numbers in the corner as Stupka can't get it to the net front and instead has to pull back. Lukashevich left point. Across to the far side. Walk of the line for Michael Quinn, and he gives it away. Potential rush up coming for Union, but it was mishandled along the far wall by Will Felicio. He shoots from distance, and that's easily handled by Drobak with nobody in front of him. He holds on with 17:35 to go in the opening period of play. First shot for the Garnet Chargers. And both teams will switch up lines. Garnet Chargers, a new nickname for Union. If you're a college hockey fan, may have known them for a long time as the Dutchmen. That was their former name under a great tenure in college hockey, which included a national title in 2014. And something of an underdog story and part of a reign of terror for the ECAC through the mid-2010s that included a string of national titles for the likes of Union, Yale, and then eventually Quinnipiac into the 2020s a few years ago. Face-off controlled by the Garnet Chargers, and a shot wristed in from the right point. Ends up wide by DJ Hart. Now from the right point, it's Cal Mell, the Alpharetta, Georgia native that plays it down low. The RedHawks take away, and Miami gets their breakout play broken up, but the puck does scoot down the ice and allow for a change. Union regroups it back in their own end. Muthersbaugh pitches it to the far side where it's left just inside the zone for Nate Hanley. He drives in and the puck rings around the near boards. Nobody there to hold the zone for Union, and it's tipped back into the Garnet Chargers zone where Miami goes in on the forecheck. Good work, 1 against 2 for the RedHawks to get a steal by Deputy. And now from the corner, Ryan Smith throws it up to the point. Lukashevich with a wrister. That hit Helgeson's stick in front, and it never reached the net. Taken the other way by Union, and Brandon Buer gets buried on the near side as he was entering the zone. Miami rips the puck around the far wall where it finds Buer in the circle, and he whacks one towards the net, but that's skittered wide of the left post. On the far side, Thompson chasing after it. Colby MacArthur arrives there first for Union. And now below the goal line, MacArthur swings it free and puts it up to the right point for Carter Rose. Rose for MacArthur to the bumper. A backhand skitters through the slot from Brandon Buer. That's wide. Miami looking to clear it off the glass. It's touched with a high stick by the Chargers, and they touch it up as it was knocked out of the air and then touched by MacArthur. That brings the faceoff all the way into the Union zone. 15:52 to go in what's been a physical opening period thus far. And we have no score. Miami brings out the line of Delic, Morozov, and Giampa. Anthony Noreen's been rolling his lines early. He said last week that his team is at its best when they're just rolling lines, don't have to shorten the bench up at all. That is what we have seen from this staff all season long. Testament to much greater depth than in the past few years for Miami. Face-off win for Union in the defensive zone, and they surgically break it out to neutral ice up the near side where Connor Smith had the puck overrun. And it just harmlessly trickles into the Miami end where the RedHawks bang it back out Union's way. Will Felicio on the regroup. Reds it through center. Another one of those Michigan transfers that we talked about along with his starting goaltender. Miami rings it around the far side. Coach Delic with a steal along the far boards. It's a 2-on-2. He finds Giampa, high slot, drinks and shoots just wide. Now it's pulled back by Lalonde on the right boards, and he flings it behind the net where it hits off the stanchion and bounces into the near circle for Morozov. Morozov curls, goes up the wall to the right point for Lalonde. Lalonde across to the far side where McEwen's shot got redirected, and now a 4-on-3 rush the other way for Union, but it's just softly tapped in by Connor Smith as his team goes for a partial change, but now a giveaway in front by the RedHawks, and it was swung on by Smith, but Dromach comes out to stone him. Puck still alive for Union, dancing on the left point. Couldn't be held in by Dunbar. Now Delic the other way. He's bracketed by black jerseys, and he gets run almost into the Union bench as he was trying to bide his time. Chargers take it the other way. Steal on the right wing for the RedHawks, and now it's whipped forward for Casper Nassen, who enters the zone on the left wing. It's tipped off his stick. Nassen fighting for it. In traffic, it's pulled out instead by Union, and Carter Corpy, who was trying to grab the puck behind his skates as he entered the zone, and he brought it in offside. Got hit hard by Doug Grimes right as the whistle was being blown. And so that is all for the play, as it's a whistle with 14:23 to go in the first period. Still no score. Face-off coming up on the far side of the ice. Face-off win for Union in the neutral zone. And it is fired all the way around the glass, where it's picked up behind the Miami net by Kyle Lecoyne. And now the RedHawks race through neutral ice. Phelan down the right side, enters the zone, stops his feet around the top of the circle, tried to tuck it in deep. Grimes runs it down in the near corner. Grimes muscling his way off of defenders, but he's stripped of possession by Carter Rose. Puck locked up in the near corner along the goal line. Now the pile migrates up the boards. Puck goes back the other way behind the Union net, where again it's wrapped up the wall. Miami tries to hold the zone and does as Casper Nossen pinches down. Grimes blew a tire. Nossen turns and shoots. That's blockered away by Corpy. Nossen now onto the loose puck in the left circle. Veers back towards the point. It was poked away, and now it's pulled out by the Garnet Chargers. And a race up the ice for Nate Hanley. Hanley tried to throw it across to the backside of the ice where Muthersbaugh was all alone, but it's blocked away by the RedHawk defense, and Lukashevich has it in the near corner. Couldn't sauce it around the near boards. Instead, it's wrapped around the far side where it finds Nick Young, the Union captain, all alone at the right point. He plays it down low, now trying to get a return feed, but it took a deflection on its way through and splits the D at the point for Union. And the Chargers are forced to back it out into the neutral zone. On the attempt to move it back in, the initial dump is blocked, and now the RedHawks poke it into the offensive zone. Mini 2-on-1 here for Miami. From a sharp angle, it's chipped on, and that is deflected wide as Hay got the shot off for Miami, and maybe a stick on it for Corpy. Meanwhile, a bounce into the front of the goal for Brandon Buer, but that was knocked away. Now a shot from the right point gets smothered in front. It falls at the stick of the RedHawks, and it is walked up the ice and cleared in by Bradley Walker for Miami as the RedHawks change. Pace picking up, 12:35 to go in the opening period, and we're scoreless in the championship game of the Friendship 4. Along the near side, it's Max Helgeson. He steps it to the middle of the ice and now skates across the giant head in the center circle. RedHawks enter the zone on the right wing. Ryan Smith turned it over, but Miami holds the zone for a moment. Now Union clears it out on the second try out to center. And the Garnet Chargers take the return dump in and will bring it up the ice. Backhanded from the red line all the way in on goal by Lucas Buziol. That is gloved by Drobak, and he holds on with 12:07 to go in the first period. Shots on goal are 5-3 in favor of Miami, and we are scoreless. Face-off coming up to Mateo Drobak's right. Second shutout in the Miami uniform for Mateo Drobak. When asked about any wear and tear that he might be feeling, Anthony Noreen was quick to disparage that last week. It's a guy that had spent some time in the Ontario Hockey League with the Bulldogs of two cities. Playing 40-50 games has been routine for Drobak, and so playing 2 games a weekend has been no problem. Off the face-off, first shot is blocked. Now a second one sent in by Buziol from the high slot. Flies high into the glass from the right point. Now another one roped in, and that's blocked in front by the RedHawks and taken the other way. It's Giampa feeding it to the left side for a shot towards net by Delic. It's tipped on goal, but saved by Corpy. And he holds with 11:46 to go in the first period. And that brings us to our first media timeout. Good pace, great energy in this building. All to be expected in the championship game of the Friendship 4 here in 2025. Miami looking for their first title in their first trip. Union looking for their record-breaking second. We'll be back to SSE Arena after the break. You're listening to Miami Hockey at the Friendship 4 on Red Hawk Radio. .46 remaining in the opening period. No score between Miami and Union. Face-off coming up to the right of Cameron Corpy, who's made 6 saves thus far. Both teams have had their fair share of chances. Would say nothing of A grade necessarily yet, but a fair amount of B grade opportunities as the RedHawks control off the draw. Quinton from the right point risks one along the ice that heads wide of the post. And now the puck just deflects all the way out to center where it ping-pongs between the two teams. Union jumps in offside, and that allows Miami to breathe a bit. Tipped into the offensive zone by Coach Adelic down the left wing. He heads off for a change. Behind the net, Giampa forechecking for Miami. He steals it and throws it up to the right point for Phelan. Phelan from the center point shoots. That's sticked aside by Corpy. And now Giampa back on it in the corner. Pasted along the wall by Carter Rose. 2-on-2 battle for the puck. A third man arrives for Union, and he pulls it free. That's Bruick for the Chargers. Union initially can't clear it, but now they do, and Coach Adelic races after it for Miami down the left wing. He gets spun around and taken off the puck as the rest of his teammates go for a change. Union just puts it out into the neutral zone where Miami takes it over. Dumped back into the offensive end by Doug Grimes. Round to the near hashes. Fight for the puck. Troy Pelton in on it for the Chargers. Behind the goal it comes to DJ Hart. And he rims it to the far side of the ice where it's brought into the offensive zone by Pelton. Pelton tried to drive the net, and he was swung away by Owen Lalonde. Now the Redhawks head back up the near side. Puck plugged up at center and finally pulled away to the far side of the ice where it's roped in by Cal Mell. Lalonde with two Chargers on him. Leaves it in the corner near side of the ice for Sean McEwen. Miami gives it away on their clearing attempt. Shot in from the left point is blocked as Nate Hanley wristed that one towards goal. And now the puck in the corner where there's a 2-on-2 battle for it. It squirts free to the far side. Casper Nossen grabs it, puts it on his backhand, and headmans out to center before poking forward. Union takes away. They head back up ice. Puck got tied up in the skates of Will Felicio, and he retreats it backward. Alex Lorenza plays it forward, and now down the right wing, a shot sent in. It was gloved aside by Drobak. Helgeson being dragged along the far boards against his man. That's Felicio. Puck comes up the near wall. Felicio has it left point. Plays it down to the half wall. Now into the middle of the ice. They were looking for a one-time play from Uthersbaugh, but the Redhawks poke it out, and it comes back to center. Union trying to push it back in with pace. They barely got it in before the Redhawks poke it back to the neutral zone. Tapped back in by the Garnet Chargers. They're offside, so no pressure for Miami as they play it up the ice, and it was deflected in with an open-face stick by Ryan Smith. It flies into the seats just past the center red line. And that brings us to a stoppage with 8:50 to go in the first period. Still no score here in Belfast. Shot attempts even at 12 aside. Miami's got 7 of them on goal. Union with only 4. Center ice draw. Top line out there for Union against Miami's fourth line. And a face-off won by the Garnet Chargers and Colby MacArthur, senior from Prince Edward Island. Played into the offensive zone by Union. It's wristed towards goal by Tyler Dunbar, blocked in front. Now a battle for it on the right point, and the Redhawks poke it out to center, where Miami attempts to headman forward, but the puck trickled by Ethan Hay. And now the Garnet Chargers pull it back. At the far side they go, stopped at the blue line, and now a chance to move forward for the Redhawks and Nick Mikan. He's causing some trouble as the puck ends up in the Union defensive zone. It's grabbed by Walker, and he just wrists one on off his back foot from near the blue line. That's blockered into the netting by Cameron Corpy. And that brings a stoppage with 8:13 to play in the opening period. Union's had the better of the last couple minutes or so. And the Garnet Chargers take a defensive zone draw against Miami's top line. Delic, Morozov, Giampa back out there. False start on the draw, and it is the Union center booted out. That's Lucas Buziel, sophomore from Mississauga, Ontario. He gives way for Connor Smith. And Miami controls the draw. Lalonde to the middle of the ice, but Giampa was tarped, and the puck is tapped back out to the neutral zone. Miami tips it into the offensive end once more, and it's raced after by Morozov. Puck around the near wall where it's put through the middle of the ice by Bruick for Union and out of the zone. Deflected puck back into the Union end. Miami headed after it. Giampa gets walked around by Carter Rose. And now up the near wall comes Lucas Buziel. Buziel chips it into the offensive end. Races after it in the near corner. Tried to throw it behind his back in front. That was denied by Coach Adelic. Now up to the right point the puck comes. It is sent in the direction of the goal by Cal Mell. Never got there. Ends up behind the net where Delic is one-on-one against Buziel. And Delic takes it away. Up the right side for Miami. Flipped in by Morozov. He was short of the red line and he iced the puck as it bounces wide. With 7:17 to go in the first period, and Miami's got at least forwards out there on the tail end of a pretty long shift. Looks like Miami got one defenseman changed. Michael Quinn is still out there, but Vlad Lukashevich has just come onto the ice for the RedHawks. So 4 tired bodies out for Miami. Top line of Delic, Morozov, and Giampa still out there. Offensive zone draw to the left of Mateo Drobak. It's won by Ilya Morozov. But the Garnet Chargers forecheck and take it away as Beer forces the turnover in the corner. Puck stuck in the mud in the far corner. Nobody can get it free. And now finally it's pulled out by Miami and lands on the stick of Giampa with a lane down the right side. Giampa drives to the front of the net. He scores! Mateo Giampa scores once again for Miami. That's his 4th straight game with a goal, and the RedHawks take the lead as it's 1-0 with 6:58 to play in the first. Giampa just caught that fluttering puck through the middle of the ice, stepped right, and went right around his man. Developed into a mini breakaway. Didn't have enough time to deke, but he shot it and just picked the right corner over Cameron Corpy's shoulder. And Giampa picks up his 7th of the year, which reties him for the team lead after Ilya Morozov took sole possession yesterday. The RedHawks get the tired bodies off the ice, and they take a 1-0 lead with under 7 minutes now to go in the first. Off the restart, there's a delay at the blue line. Believe Union came in offside, so we've got a whistle. As kind of some confused faces out there, but the Garnet Chargers were offside, or were they? Referees are waving everybody back onto the ice. They had blown the horn for the media timeout. And then this refereeing crew decided to pull everybody back out. And so we will not have a timeout on the ice, and instead it's an offensive zone draw for UMass. And now we get a whistle, and before the puck is dropped, the Wings are told to move back. UMass brings in Troy Pelton to take this offensive zone draw. Eric Frank has come all the way in from the neutral zone, or rather that is Troy Merritt, to sort things out at the face-off circle. They get it all squared away. Miami wins the draw, and the RedHawks toss it up the near side where it's held in by Union at the left point. Back in for the Chargers. It's ripped down low by Lassard, and now the puck just rolling through the middle of the ice. It comes near Drobak, and he pounces on it before anything gets too dangerous. And that brings us to the actual media timeout with 6:23 to play in the first. But Mateo Giampa reties himself for the team lead in goals with his 7th of the year off a quick rush. And Miami makes it 1-0 as we now have 6:23 remaining in the opening period of play. Championship game here at the Friendship 4 in Belfast. Don't want to miss it. Stay with us. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. 6:23 remaining first period action. Miami leads Union 1-0 in the championship game of the Friendship 4. Offensive zone faceoff coming up for the Garnet Chargers. It is controlled by Union in the near corner as Alex Lorenzo runs it down. The freshman for Union emerges with the puck, throws it to the middle of the ice where it went between the legs of Hanley, ends up in the right point where it's played in deep, and Hanley chases after it. He chips in behind. He's got no teammates there. Instead, it's McEwen playing it down for Miami. It hit off of the skate of Hanley on its way down, and that negates the icing as Union takes it from behind the net and throws it back out to neutral. Miami, meanwhile, now throws it back in, and we get a whistle. And did the RedHawks ice it there? Or are they calling intentional offsides? Anthony Noreen looks confused on the Miami bench. Union is picking the side of the faceoff, so it looks like that was an icing call on that dump in. Miami must have just been a hair short of the red line there. So with 5:52 to go in the period, the officiating crew still sorting things out with the Miami bench. They can't change. Bodies didn't appear that tired. It wasn't an exceptionally long shift, but they do have to pull some bodies back over the boards. Doug Grimes pleading his case as he heads back onto the ice, but it's an offensive zone faceoff for Union. Miami wins it, though, and it's brought out to neutral by Kyle LeCoyne. He fires a bullet to the near side. Grimes catches it and chips it in. Now heads off for a change as Casper Nassen goes heavy into the wall on the forecheck. Union breaks it out. MacArthur through the middle of the ice. Had the puck knocked off his stick. It was deked then through Union's own player by Will Felicio, and he chips it into the far corner. Back up top for the Garnet Chargers. Brendan Buer dodges around, throws one on. Drobak didn't see it, but got a blocker on it, and now Miami slithers it back out to center. RedHawks had a 2-on-1 developing, but Helgeson could never get a handle on it and just dumped it into the offensive zone. Garnet Chargers below their own goal line. Puck is swept by Nick Young all the way around the far boards. Held in by Ryder Thompson, who dishes it in deep. Deputy catches it, taps it along for Ryan Smith. He's locked up in the corner. Now Helgeson gives it back for Smith, trying to backhand shove it in front. It was knocked up in the air and then knocked down by Union. Lukashevich down for Smith on the right side. Tucked it in front for Helgeson, but it hit him in the skate, and it comes back to the near corner. Smith turns around, fires it back in deep. It's caught by Helgeson in the trapezoid. Back up left point for Thompson. He bangs it back in deep for the RedHawks. Helgeson heads off to change. Smith has it on the far boards for Miami. Just throws it across the slot. Knocked down by Union. No RedHawks there. Pumped back in by Lukashevich, but knocked out of the air for the Chargers by Lindauer. And he gets it back out to neutral. Brought back in quickly by the RedHawks and Thompson. Back into the lineup after missing last weekend. Thompson pinches all the way in to dump the puck in behind and wear the hit in the process. Union takes possession, and now the Garnet Chargers flip it down the ice. It goes all the way down, but no icing as it was beaten out by Connor Smith. RedHawks have plenty of reinforcements back to neutralize him, though, and now Coach Adelic brings it forward for Miami. Enters the zone, steps right. Delic all the way into the corner. He gets spun around with a hit by DJ Hart. Puck goes skittering away to the far corner where it's picked up by Mateo Giampa. Giampa tucks it into the far corner where now the RedHawks work on the forecheck. Delic with a steal. Delic walks out from behind the net, sauces up right side for a one-time blast by Lalonde. That's wide. Picked up by Giampa on the far corner. Handling, surveys, finds Lalonde near point. Lalonde looks, heads down the wall, shielding the puck with his body, gives behind for Morozov. Far corner and now back up top. A one-timer by Delic, blocked in front as that puck was eaten up in front of the net by Nick Young, the Union captain, and he tosses it forward as the Garnet Chargers dump it in to go for a change. Good shift there for Miami's top line. Just over 3 minutes to play. RedHawks trying to reverse it up ice quickly and tipped it into the Union bench. And that stops play with 3:13 to go in the first period. Shots on goal now 9-7 in favor of Miami, and they lead Union 1-0. Face-off on the near side of the ice coming up for the Garnet Chargers on their defensive half of the blue line, of the red line rather. Face-off is controlled by the RedHawks and dumped in with a backhand effort by Nick Mikan. Miami gives chase. It's sent down the far side and chopped along the wall by Nate Hanley, but he can't get it by a coin who pinches all the way in below the goal line to prevent it from getting up the wall. A coin still in there. Wraps it around the shelf of the wall. It hits off the stanchion and now settles down for Union, who tried to get it through center. May have had a 2-on-1 developing, but Muthersbaugh's pass through center hit a skate. Now Miami brings it back in. Shot from distance by Phelan is sticked away. And now Bradley Walker got tied up in front going after the puck. And that allows Union to grab it and clear out to center. And Miami overskates, looking for the steal right at the offensive blue line. Union regroups it back, but they give it away. Down the right wing comes Kasper Nassen, leaves it for Grimes just inside the blue line. Grimes throws it toward the net front. No RedHawks in the area code. It's pulled out and skated the other way by Nate Hanley. And he backhands it in for the Garnet Chargers as they go for changes with 2:05 remaining in the period. Miami's had Union back on their heels over the last handful of minutes, and the RedHawks chip it back into the offensive zone. Justin Stupka goes after it for Miami and chops it along the far boards. Left behind the net for Will Felicio. He goes through the neutral zone where it's left by Union and now given away by Miami for a second. Almost a breakaway as the RedHawks gave it away on a D-to-D pass. McEwen just left that between his legs, but the Garnet Chargers couldn't push that forward, and Miami brings it back to the neutral zone. Lifted over the offensive blue line by the RedHawks. Kasper Nassen going after it, and Nassen records the steal in the corner all alone with his teammates going for changes. Throws it around the far wall. Hustle for Thompson. He holds the zone. Now he gives for Deputy at the half wall. Puck went into his skates, and it's poked away. And now Union heads up ice as Pelton throws it all the way across. A drag and a shot sent through for the Garnet Chargers by Corpy, and that trickled wide as he fanned on that attempt. And now a bouncing puck is settled through the middle of the ice by Miami. And maybe with numbers going the other way, Helgeson down the right side with a quick break. He fires. It's high and wide as we're under a minute to play in the period. And the RedHawks are going to get a power play as Ryan Smith got dumped down in the far corner. Right after that puck was shot wide by Helgeson, and that a recovery effort by Ryan Smith in the far corner. He got two-handed from behind by DJ Hart, and he goes to the box to sit for two. And the RedHawks, who scored a goal on one of the nation's best penalty kills yesterday, now try to do so again as they lead it 1-0 late in period number one. In Miami's power play with a goal yesterday, they're now at 16.7 on the year. Union on the penalty kill 92.2%, and the RedHawks give it away off the draw as Lukas Shevich gave it up, and a shorthanded chance the other way for the Garnet Chargers as Buziol came in on the backhand, and the save made by Drobak. And now the RedHawks skid it away. Miami banks it off the near wall. It goes all the way into the Garnet Charger zone. They try to clear out, but they can't. Deputy holds the zone with 25 seconds to play in the period, and Miami sets up. Quinn on the right point. Across the way for Coach Adelic. Now in the circle, it's Deputy. Back up for Delic. Leaves it behind Quinn. Center point. One-timer for the far side by Deputy. Sticked aside by Corpy and banged down the ice with 10 seconds to go. Miami tries to get it up quickly for one final chance. Deputy tips it into the offensive end with 4 seconds to go. Dragged behind the net by Union. And the Garnet Chargers will eat up the rest of the time on this clock. The puck flew through the middle of the ice with under a second to play. And Deputy was there, but would not have got a shot off in time. And the first period comes to an end with Miami leading Union by a 1-0 score. The goal by Mateo Giampa off the rush, the difference for the RedHawks. They have 1 minute and 8 seconds of carryover power play time on the game's first man advantage opportunity. That's on the other side into the second period. But for now, we will take a break. Both these teams head off to their respective locker rooms after a high-octane first period. And our score here from Belfast after 20 minutes, Miami 1 and Union 0. Again, power play on the way for the RedHawks. Half of it roughly left for Miami to start the period, and that will come when we return from break. You're listening to Miami Hockey at the Friendship 4 on Red Hawk Radio. Second period on the way here from SSE Arena in Belfast with the score Miami 1 and 20th ranked Union nothing. The RedHawks outshot the Garnet Chargers 11-8 in the opening period of play, and Miami got the goal off the rush. The RedHawks scored at the 13:02 mark of the opening period. After Miami was out there for an extended shift, the RedHawks iced the puck. With tired bodies out there, Miami got a clearance off the draw, and instead of heading to the bench, Matteo Giampa ran into the loose puck, took a full head of steam forward, went down the right wing, and shot it over the left shoulder of Cameron Corpy into the top right corner. And Miami took a 1-0 lead into the locker room. Give the assist on that flip, by the way, to Ilya Morozov, the young Russian who picks up his 13th point of the year and 6th assist, secondary assist to Michael Quinn, who picks up his 6th helper of the season as Miami took a 1-0 lead. That's all the scoring to talk about in the opening period, but the RedHawks do have a power play headed into period number 2. Miami unsuccessful, nearly allowed a shorty to tie the game right before the break as Lucas Buziol got a steal right off the faceoff against Vlad Lukashevich. Took it all the way down the ice, but got stoned by Mateo Drobak. And that kept it a 1-0 hockey game, but Miami largely did not do much with the power play. In that first period, it was the first power play of the game, and the RedHawks have 1 minute and 8 seconds of carryover time headed into period number 2. They're out shooting Union 11-8, heading into the middle frame. And they go right to left in the whites. Union goes left to right in the blacks here in period number 2. Face-off win by Ilya Morozov for the RedHawks, and we are underway in this second period as Miami sets up in their own zone on the power play. Matteo Giampa now heads across the line, down the left wing. He hands it off for Kochadelic. He tried to wrap around the net and got pulled down from an awkward angle, and now the puck is shot up into the Miami bench on a clearance attempt by Union. And so the clear goes nowhere for the Garnet Chargers, and instead the face-off's backed into their own zone. 18 seconds gone by in the period. 50 seconds remain in the minor to DJ Hart. And an offensive zone face-off to the right of Cameron Corpy for the RedHawks. It's controlled by Union. Around to the far corner, Riley Bruick had trouble clearing it off a couple of tries because he ran into the referee in the corner, but off the third bad attempt, he finally gets it out. And the RedHawks now have to move it back into the offensive zone. Morozov's pass finds Skates looking from left to right. Gets it back and finds Delic at the half wall. Now in the corner, it's Giampa backing behind the net. Top of the left circle, Delic slides at center point for Michael Quinn. Quinn heads to the far side, back near wing for Delic. Dances his way to the high slot. Back up top for Michael Quinn. Fakes the slap shot, and instead in the right circle, it's David Deputy. Plays it down low for Giampa. Walks up to the left face-off dot. His pass attempt got stuffed. And now Giampa has it in his skates and just backhands it down the wall at the left point. And now a hard hit along the near wall by Carter Rose, working against Deputy, and he's called for a penalty. And Union touches it up, and just 2 seconds remained on that penalty to DJ Hart. And Carter Rose, his defense pairing mate, heads to the box. It's a 2-minute boarding call. We have seen a fair amount of those this weekend. And that sends Miami to another power play. That was what DJ Hart's penalty was for as well. And because of that, Miami now has 2 seconds of 5-on-3 time before 1:58 of power play. And again, they're up against the nation's third best penalty kill, but Miami scored a goal against the nation's second best penalty kill last night. RedHawks win the faceoff. First man out of the box, a one-time blast to the near side by Kasper Nassen. Corpy makes the save. It's cleared down the ice. Hart set to arrive there first. He's got a man in front to help him, but he couldn't dig the puck off the wall. Hart just backs it up the near wall and now throws it in the direction of goal. It ricochets off the corner boards, but right to the Garnet Chargers, and Nick Young plays it all the way back to his own end for Union to kill more time before it's thrown down the ice. So that kills the first 30 seconds off of the penalty to Carter Rose. RedHawks' second power play unit now out there as Kasper Nassen steps it down the left wing, hands it off for Helgeson. He taps it further along, and now a pass up from low to high between Smith and Nassen. Hops his stick and actually kicked up off the top of his blade and into the Miami bench. And so Face-off coming up. It's going to stay in the zone here, which is a little surprising. And the Union bench does not like the call. But Miami gets an offensive zone face-off with 1:20 to go on the penalty to Carter Rose, leading 1-0, 18-13 to go in the middle period. Face-off one into the near corner by the Garnet Chargers. And it's cleared high off the glass and out by Tyler Dunbar. They're dropping gift cards from the ceiling as play is going along, like the Skyline Chili parachute drop if you've ever seen that at Katie Arena. Meanwhile, Miami gets it back into the offensive zone, but a pass just doesn't connect cleanly. It goes under the skate from Morozov to Delic, and the RedHawks have to pull it all the way back. Delic now races up the right side, backhands it across for Mateo Giampa. He crosses the Union line on the left wing. Ilya Morozov 360s, backhands it right to the Garnet Chargers. And it's taken up the ice for Union by Buziol, who throws it on goal. Drobak sticked it with his glove behind his blade, covered for a second, then tried to throw it out. And there was intent there to freeze it, so the whistle is blown by referee Brian Hankes, and now he and Drobak are discussing. Miami has a defensive zone face-off on the near side of the ice with 17:33 to go in the second period, 40 seconds remaining in the minor penalty to Carter Rose. Second PK unit back out there for Miami as off the face-off, Nick Young took a shot from the left point that glanced off the shoulder for Drobak, but he made the save. And the RedHawks take it back up the ice through the center. It's Max Helgeson that enters the zone for Miami, but he just cleanly loses possession, not really provoked, and that allows the Garnet Chargers an easy clear down the ice with 18 seconds to go in the penalty. Michael Quinn up ahead now. It's Kasper Nassen down the left wing. Nassen slides it in behind for Helgeson. Helgeson 1-on-2 against the wall. He gets crunched hard by DJ Hart, who's traded places with his defensive pairing mate, who's now in the box and now out of the box as the penalty expires, and Union pulls it out of that corner board battle and brings it up the ice for a potential 3-on-2, but they back out of it to go change. It's brought down the left wing by Hart, and he threw it in front for a one-time opportunity by Drew Sutton. That sticked away. Garnet Chargers stayed on it for a moment. Kasper Nassen had a chance to clear. He tried to dangle out of the zone, and he got stripped. Now through the right side of the ice, a dragon shot by Lorenza didn't get through. RedHawks cough it up, though, right to Lorenza behind the net. He walks it out for a shot from the right dot. That is patted away from Nate Hanley. Chargers still with it. Left point, it's Dunbar. Walks around Smith, lost the puck. It slides below the goal line. Phelan tucks it along the far wall for Miami, but not out. Held in by the Garnet Chargers. Lassard plays it into the middle, now has it back along the wall. Lassard goes down the boards, goes back up top. And now it's Hanley trading places with Tyler Dunbar. Lassard across looking for Hanley. Phelan sprawled out to tip it over to the far boards. Union still with it. On the right side, it's Lassard. Top of the circle, he shoots and scores. May have been tipped in front. But Etienne Lassard, the freshman from Quebec, picks up the second goal of his Union career for the moment. And it has tied the game at 1 with 15:42 to go in the second period. Looked like that puck definitely hit something in front, but the way the Garnet Chargers celebrated it must have been a RedHawk defender. And it looks like that's Lassard's goal. And they drop the puck quickly and get things restarted as Union goes back to work and they tie the game. Lassard's second goal of the year. It comes right after a pair of back-to-back kills by the Garnet Chargers, and they've tied the game here in the second. Still early stages. Miami's first clearing attempt as they look to get it out of the zone, hits it off a skate. Now Ethan Hay brings it forward for the RedHawks, and he lofts it in. Tracked down in the near corner by Will Felicio. He goes up the wall for Nick Young. And now down the right wing, stepping around, Lindauer. Lost possession, it flies into the corner. Jabbed along the boards by Bradley Walker, and Nicholas Mikan gets to it for the RedHawks to wire it ahead on the far wing. Union pulling back. Wait for a change to finish up. A hard collision away from the puck. Looked like initiated by Miami. No call, and now a shot from the right side. At the right entering the zone, Bruick threw it off the post. Second opportunity for Union as it's thrown at the net, and DJ Hart hit a skate in front, and it deflects into the protective netting with 14:44 to go in the second period. And we have a stoppage with the game tied at 1. So quick tic-tac-toe play coming into the zone for Union. And it was fired off the post. Offensive zone draw for the Garnet Chargers, and they lose it as it's picked up by Miami and tapped out of the zone. Top line out there for the RedHawks. Hart runs it down in his own zone, stumbles but recovers to put it up the far wing. Bruick is tacked along the far wall. Puck slides towards the Union blue line, and Morozov chips it in for the RedHawks, who now chase. Around the wall it goes to the far side for Bruick. Gets the lob wedge out, flips it down the ice. It's stopped short of icing where Ryder Thompson picks it up, and Vlad Lukashevich fires it around the far boards. He got hit hard in the process, but now it's sprung the other way for a 2-on-1. Giampa with Delic. Giampa slides it the other way. It goes behind Delic, and now a 3-on-3 break the other way for the Garnet Chargers. Left behind for the trailer right on the blue line, and that brings Union in offside as Tyler Dunbar had a clear lane to the front of the net. Miami did have 3 defenders back, but they were all focused on the 2 up men. And it was left behind by Union right on the blue line, but not into the zone. And so Dunbar carried it in behind his 2 teammates, and Union's offside with 13:59 to go in the second period. It's 1-1. Neutralized draw coming up on the near side of the ice. And it's controlled by Union. They bring it into the offensive end, and now a chance down the left wing. A shot sent in. Drobak makes the save against Pelton, and he backs up and falls onto his backside, but holds on with 13:53 to go. Still in the second period, but Union gets some field position off the scoring chance as they move it into the offensive end. Drew Sutton set to take this face-off for the Garnet Chargers against Miami's Justin Stupka. Out there with Grimes and Nassen. Defensive pairing Phelan and a coin for Miami, who's dressed 7 defensemen for a second straight night. After dressing 13 forwards last week. Off the draw, Miami tries to go glass it out, and Phelan just sends it the length for icing. And Union elects to take it on the near side of the ice. That flips things with 13:46 to go in the middle period. Still 1-1. Justin Stupka, the freshman from New Cumberland, Pennsylvania, on the draw. Had a strong first season, 7 points, 3 goals for him. And he wins the faceoff for Miami into the near corner. It's picked up by Kyle Aucoin, and he sends a rainbow out to mid-ice where it's grabbed by Doug Grimes, and in traffic he dumps it into the Union end. Garnet Chargers pop the puck through center. They got delayed at the blue line, but brought it in onside somehow after a bit of a stumble at the line by Drew Sutton. Now thrown across point to point, a shot through traffic from Young. Looking for a deflection, none came, and it flew wide. Now behind the goal, it's chopped along the boards by Alex Lorenza. Left behind by Muthersbaugh. Up to the point it goes, where Will Felicio walks it around. He leaves it for Carter Rose. Rose lost it and skates through it through traffic. It's tipped off the right post. Nate Hanley got his stick on it. It beat Drobak, but it rings off the pipe and stays out. And after a couple of strong minutes since the goal, Miami is reeling, and Kasper Nassen finally takes the clearing attempt for the RedHawks and just dumps it into the offensive zone to go change. Second line emerges for the RedHawks from the bench. 12:34 to go, middle period. Union peppering Mateo Drobak. They've hit a couple of posts, but they've only scored 1 goal in a tied hockey game. Puck behind the net. Max Helgeson runs into it for Miami. Now he escapes to the far wing. His saucer pass got over the stick of Lalonde. Squirts all the way out to center, though, for Smith to enter the zone. He blew a tire. Still leaves it, though, for Helgeson, who shoots. It's tipped high off the top of the glass. Play continues. Referee brought the whistle to his lips, but it looks like that puck did stay in, and now the RedHawks are forechecking. Deputy pins his man. Smith comes out with the puck in the far corner. Tagged along the wall. He threw it through the middle. Nobody there for Miami, and brought out by the Garnet Chargers. Sent across the line by Lindauer, and he shovels it the rest of the way in as Union finishes up a change. Smith surveys the ice and skates down the right alley for Miami. enters the zone, drags and flips one towards the net. It flies way high. Hay has it on the near boards and rims it to the far side where Lukashevich grabs it at the point. Hard feed down the wall, skipped over the stick of Deputy. He heads off to change. Now Lukashevich again for the right point. Wristed one wide. And Union pulls it out. Now a 2-on-2 rush the other way for the Garnet Chargers. Riley Bruick throws one across that hit the stick of Lukashevich through the slot area and ended up on the far wall. Ethan Hay chasing after it as Miami chips it into the Union end. RedHawks hold the zone as it's Ethan Hay in on the backhand. He shovels it behind and it's wrapped around in front. Scramble for it at the top of the blue paint. After Nick Mikan went after it, RedHawks poked it through. And a big hit laid after the whistle on Bradley Walker. And immediately, bodies go flying everywhere as Bradley Walker got popped right in front of the net. He's checking for blood around his head or neck area. Ethan Hay, meanwhile, appears to be hurt behind the bench. Michael Leroy has not come out of the bench yet, but Union does pick up a penalty out of this as the referees out of the pile pull Etienne Lassard, who scored the goal for the Garnet Chargers, and put him in the penalty box. So the RedHawks were poking at a puck they thought was loose but wasn't, and that was when Bradley Walker paid a huge price. He is still really shaken standing over near the Miami bench. The captain, Nick Young, is pleading with the officiating crew to give the RedHawks something to offset. But it's going to be a Miami power play, it appears, as that brought things to immediate timeout. We'll stay with it here in Belfast. 11:01 remains in the second period. And Miami and Union are tied at 1. And how about when they needed it most? Miami's second line, Smith, Helgeson, and Deputy, really providing a spark, some energy for this group after about 4 or 5 shifts hemmed in their own zone. And the RedHawks have a chance on their third power play of the night to make something happen. Haven't had too many big chances yet. They spent 3 minutes and 58 seconds straight on the power play after one penalty that carried across periods, followed by another with just 2 seconds remaining on the first. So Union's done a lot of killing of late. They spent 6 of the last 12 minutes or so in the box. And now an offensive zone draw for Miami's top power play unit. And Ilya Morozov wins it on the left wing. But the RedHawks cannot hold the zone as it's tapped out past Ryder Thompson and down the ice by Union. 10:51 remains in the second period. Thompson brings it out from behind his own goal line. It was touched out near center by the RedHawks. They waved the icing. It looked like Delic was not across the red line there, but Miami catches a break as they tap it into the offensive end. Puck now below the goal line. RedHawks going after it. 3 men below the goal line right now for Union. A fourth very close as the Garnet Chargers take it out, and they fail to clear it as Thompson holds it in on the right point. Delic walks it around. Delic holding onto it on the left side. Plays it into the corner, now has it back and gives up for Thompson center point. Thompson across for Delic. He shoots through traffic. It's tipped in front. Save made by Corpy. Clearing attempt held in on the left point by Delic. To the high slot. Up for Thompson center point. In the left circle, Deputy turns and shoots. Save made. And a glove for Corpy. He holds on. 10:02 remains in the period. 1:02 left in the penalty to Etienne Lassard. And the RedHawks have an ozone draw coming up after their most successful power play shift of the game. Miami trying to break this tie as we approach the halfway mark of regulation. Second unit out there, and Ethan Hay takes the faceoff for Miami. RedHawks faceoff specialist. Do they run out at the start of overtime to win crucial draws? And Hay wins this one. That is big for the Miami PK, or power play rather, and Hay stays out there. Nassen left circle. Gets a return feed for a blast. He scores! Kasper Nassen with that bomb of a shot. A quick little catch and go play up at the point with Michael Quinn He got it back and blasted in from the OV office at the top of the left circle. The RedHawks score on the power play, and Miami makes it 2-1 with 9:54 remaining in the second. Third goal of the year for Kasper Nassen, the sophomore from Norrtälje, Sweden, back in his home continent. And he pulls the RedHawks in front, and for the second straight night, Miami has scored against one of the nation's best power plays. So the RedHawks jump back in front, rewarded after about 4 good shifts in a row, following a little bit of difficulty. And now Bradley Walker dumps it into the offensive zone for the RedHawks, and they're right back to work. Along the near wall, couldn't be held in by Miami. It's backed out by a coin. Goal from Nassen, the assist to Michael Quinn at 10:06, the official mark in the book. For Michael Quinn, it's a 2-assist night, as the RedHawks now advance it up the far wall, and it's grabbed by Justin Stuco, enters the zone, cuts to the left side, trying to dangle his way through one defender and lost possession. Puck scoots to the near wall where it's tapped around by Stuco to the far side. Union tries to stretch it, tipped puck forward, is grabbed by Thompson. Miami, meanwhile, tipping it in the other way as the RedHawks go for changes. Less than 9 minutes to play in the period. At neutral ice, Lalonde gets crunched right in front of the penalty box as he lifts it in. Coach Adelic throws a hit. That wins possession for Miami in the offensive zone. Giampa walks the blue line around to the far circle, throws one in. That's blocked by a Union player in front. And that player is hurt. That looks like it's Drew Sutton for the Garnet Chargers. And now Miami has the puck leak out of the zone on them, but they play it right back in. Rather, I think that's Lorenza, who looks to be all right now for Union, as it's just lifted way up in the air from the far corner, almost all the way into the Union bench in the period of the long change. And the RedHawks play it back in thanks to Ilya Morozov, who now heads off. Smith and Deputy on the forecheck. Helgeson heading down the near side. Tips it into the corner, and now up to the point. A coin with a shot. That's blocked in front by MacArthur. Now the puck thrown in front by Union. Out of the corner from a puck battle, and it's just grabbed by Corpy, and he freezes it with 7:52 remaining in the second period. And that brings us to a immediate timeout. Well, the goal by Kasper Nassen doing what he does best, a rocket shot on the power play. One-timer and a 2-assist night for Michael Quinn. It lifts Miami back in front in this hockey game with 7:52 remaining in the middle period. The score, the RedHawks 2 and the Garnet Chargers 1. We're back to Belfast, Northern Ireland after this. This is the championship game of the 2025 Friendship 4 Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. .752 remaining second period. The score, Miami 2 and Union 1. Offensive zone faceoff coming up for the RedHawks after the goal scored on the power play by Kasper Nassen to untie this game, and Miami wins it, and they control as it's dumped in by Ryder Thompson. Puck takes an awkward carom off the end boards, and it bounces. Union can't settle it and clear. Instead, the RedHawks with it now as David Deputy pulls out the escape rope in the far corner. Taps it along the wall. It's left for Ryan Smith. He hauls it into the corner. Smith has the puck just glued in his skates right now, and now it's poked away by Union and dumped into the offensive zone. Beer going after it, and that's in for icing. And that is not a call I think anybody in here expected, really in the realm of possibility, as it looked like that kind of poke in, not even a real dump from Union, came near or after the red line. And Birhu was going after it, got to that puck well before any RedHawks did. But Miami catches a break off the hybrid icing. And in the eyes of the linesman, Eric Frank, the RedHawks were going to get there first. And that gives them an offensive zone faceoff. They lose it now, and Union goes the other way, though. And the Garnet Chargers set up in the offensive zone down the near wall. Lindauer's hauled down right in front of the Union bench. They're giving an earful to the referee at the moment as the Garnet Chargers are offside and they have to vacate the zone. Miami tried to thread a pass through a lot of traffic. A coin was looking to stretch for Giampa, and now the puck comes down in front for a blast that flies way high as the Garnet Chargers, that was Bruick that went through. Now the RedHawks go the other way, and it's Morozov trying to handle a bouncing puck in the slot as he was skating through off the rush, and he couldn't do so. 3-on-2 the other way for the Garnet Chargers. Pass put across there by Will Felicio is hit with a stick by the RedHawks. And Miami backs into their defensive shape, and the RedHawks break the puck out up the far wall. Mateo Giampa gets under it, and one hops it off the end boards, so the RedHawks can change. On feet ahead for the Garnet Chargers, and off a dive, Bruick whacks it to the middle of the ice. That allows for a zone entry. Drive towards the net by Buziol. He swings to the near corner, tried to wrap it in front, got denied. Pushed back up the far wall. It is held in by Union and flipped wide of the net to the left corner. Troy Pelton tabbed along the wall. Ethan Hay tugs the puck free and throws it down the ice off the glass. No icing as Union grabs it. And again, it's sent forward by the Garnet Chargers. Mateo Drobak with a defender hot on his heels, rims it around the near wall. McEwen having trouble with it, and Union pulls it out. Out to the far wing, a drag through the slot, shot through traffic from Dunbar. It's high. Now he gets another chance for the high slot. That flies wide as well. Drobak didn't see that second one with all sorts of bodies in front, but both shots were wide, and now the puck's in the far corner for the Garnet Chargers. It comes up the wall for Dunbar. Dunbar throws it at the net. Lalonde sticks it away for Miami and guides it to safety to the perimeter. To the near half wall, Bradley Walker fighting for it for Miami. McEwen arrives for help as well, but instead it's taken away by Troy Pelton for the Garnet Chargers. He's stripped of possession, though, as he tried to drive the middle, and Miami pokes it out to center. Under 5 to go, second period. RedHawks lead it by 1. Lalonde has it and flips it out to the neutral zone for the RedHawks. 360 move for Tyler Dunbar to get across the center red, and he throws it in. Lukashevich gets back. There's a stick sitting in the middle of the ice right now. Lukashevich looks up the near wing, near the Miami bench. Look out as the RedHawks were changing. It's tipped into the offensive zone by Miami, and Doug Grimes kept his feet off the ice to avoid the call. Brought back up by Union. They dump it Miami's way. And that is icing again. Wow. Nate Hanley was going after it, and that dump again appeared like it was right on the red line or maybe past it, but we have learned that certainly for the RedHawks playing in the NCHC, these icings are called very tight, and Miami wins an offensive zone faceoff out of the deal. They pick to take it on the left wing side. Stupka out there with the goal scorer Nassen and Grimes. Faceoff controlled by the Garnet Chargers. It's picked up in the far corner by Muthersbaugh. And he goes around to the near wing for Troy Pelton. Spun around in the corner by Stupka. He gave it away, going for the point in Thompson. And Union skates it out to neutral ice. Brought back in by the RedHawks. Grimes leaves it between his legs for Stupka. Throws it on net. It's sticked aside by Corpy. RedHawks still on it. Nassen behind the net, looking for an option. Threw it in front. It got through, but didn't find any RedHawks. Now center point. Phelan fans on a one-time effort off the feed by Thompson. Or rather, that's Lukashevich. He hauls his man down in the neutral zone to win possession back for Miami. It's dumped in by Nassen, and he got pumped hard by DJ Hart. Both teams changing here as Union holds behind the net, and now it's sent up the near side by the Garnet Chargers to finish out the change, and Kyle Aucoin pulls it back for Miami. Through the far side, Ryan Smith enters the zone, tried to sauce it down low. That didn't get through. And it's just cleared out by Union. Takes a bounce off the wall. All the momentum of that puck dies, and it does not go down for icing. Picked up instead by Aucoin. Up the wall he goes for Helgeson. Through the middle, Smith finds Phelan. He banks it off the wall for Deputy down the far side. Deputy into the corner in the offensive end. Couldn't drag it around his man. Helgeson pokes it back for him. Deputy up for Phelan on the right side. It's tipped through the slot and skitters wide. Picked up in the near corner by Lindauer for Union. He leaves it along the near wall where it's just bumped out to center. Fight right in front of the Miami bench for possession. And the puck just gets lost behind everybody into the Garnet Charger zone where Morozov and Delic go into the corner to work on it for Miami. Pulled out to the point, shot through traffic by McEwen. It hit up high on Corpy, but he made the save, although he didn't see it. Giampa now on the secondary opportunity in the near corner, drives behind the net, finds Delic 5 feet to his right. Delic swerves at the far half wall. Sauces it up center point for Lalonde, looking for a one-timer. Now he settles it down. Down low, McEwen threw it out in front. Past a couple of sticks, looking for a backdoor tap. And the puck ends up along the near wall. Tap back behind the net by Union. They give it away. Giampa threw it out in front and hit off Corpy's stick. And so it went over everybody's heads in front of the net. Now Giampa to the bumper in front. Morozov turns and shoots. He got stood up before that reached the goal. Giampa now drives the net. That's knocked off his stick. 3 Union players on at top of the blue paint. They clear as far as the blue. Miami holds in. Under 2 minutes to go in the period. RedHawks are pressuring. Along the far wall, Coach Delic circles for Miami. Once and twice, he hands off Lukashevich right point. Walks down the wall. Heads back up, now back to the hashes, threw it to the backside, looking for Thompson. He stumbled, and now Union can finally take it and just throw it out to center, but they don't get very far as Lukashevich picks it off and throws it right back in for Miami. Puck hits off the stanchion, and that gives it right to Union, though. They don't have to dig it off the wall. They tried to send it forward, though, for Bruick, who was offside, and because of that, Bruick trying to stretch the ice, couldn't go and race after the icing, and so the Garnet Chargers ice it with 1:23 to go in the period. Shots on goal are 17-15 in favor of Miami after that furious sequence, and the RedHawks lead it 2-1. Face off on the left wing for Miami's fourth line. Mike and Hay and Walker out there with a Coyne and Phelan. Still sorting out some players for Union, and now get some warnings issued to both centers. And they drop the puck, face off won by the RedHawks. A Coyne from the center point, throws it in front, knocked down. Secondary puck tracked by Walker, threw it on net. Save made by Corpy, and he dives on it 5 feet over the blue paint. Frozen with 1:16 to go in the period. Still 2-1 Miami, but the Garnet Chargers can now change after the puck is frozen. And it looks like they had one straggler left out there. That was Cal Mell for Union. Or rather, that was Will Felicio. That was the last man yet to change, so he heads off. And now Union's got fresh legs out there for this defensive zone draw, taken on the far side of the ice. Face-off win by Miami. A Coyne on the left point. Goes to the right side for Phelan. Trying to throw it across, looking for a one-timer. It's picked up before it reaches Walker. Mini 3-on-2 the other way for Union. Taken down the left wing and thrown across the slot by Lorenza. Nobody there for Union. And just guided to the far boards by Miami. Sent back in from the point in front. It's tipped in the high slot into the protective netting. And now a tumble into Mateo Drobak. As Muthersbaugh got that deflection in front in the high slot. And he tipped it up into the netting and then blew a tire and just slid into the feet of Drobak. But the two on good terms. Drobak didn't go down hard. 59.6 seconds remaining in the period. Offensive zone draw coming up for Union on the left wing. RedHawks lead it 2-1. Miami stacks with 3 guys on the near hash. That's in front of the net. Face-off controlled by the Garnet Chargers, and a shot from up top by Nate Hanley. Blockered away by Drobak. And the RedHawks emerge free with it. Lifted in by Kasper Nassen into the offensive zone. He lays a heavy hit against the end wall, but it's pulled free by Union with 42 seconds remaining. And now off the rush go the Garnet Chargers. Sent towards the net by Muthersbaugh. That's easily sticked away by Drobak. And now a good job to dive away from a defender by Grimes. Sets up a rush for Miami, and Grimes gets pounded Or rather, that's Stupka after getting the handoff from Grimes next to the far wall. Stupka, meanwhile, tracks a loose puck right next to him and dumps it in with 19 seconds to go. Into the far corner it goes for Union. And they go through the middle of the ice where a big hit is laid by Ilya Morozov. Sean McEwen dumps it back in for the RedHawks with 8 seconds remaining. Just tucked to the near boards where Lassard throws it all the way up the ice to the far side. And the period comes to an end, and Ilya Morozov lays a huge hit as time expires, and he will be penalized. Just not a smart decision there for Ilya Morozov, as a long stretch pass came forward for Union with basically no time on the clock. And Ben Muthersbaugh was standing on the far blue line on the fringe of the offensive end, and Morozov hit him right in the numbers, and that could make things awfully difficult on Miami, as both teams are separated here to finish out the period. And Muthersbaugh's down, and he's being tended to by the training staff. We have not seen a 5-in game for Miami or an opponent this weekend, although we've had a ton of kind of light hits from behind and boarding calls. And that was arguably the worst, and again, arguably the most avoidable, as Muthersbaugh is helped to his feet to a large ovation from this crowd. Now Morozov is sent off the ice, but both teams are going down their tunnels because there's no time left on the clock, so I don't think that's a definitive decision. The referees are going to the monitor. They've got full replay capability here in Belfast. They haven't put any time on the clock yet, and again, Morozov was just sent off, but with the rest of his team to go to the locker room. Both coaching staffs are staying on their benches, but all but the captains, in terms of the players, have gone to the locker room. They have not started the intermission clock yet. They can't do that until all the players and officials are off the ice, and the referees are looking at this for a potential major penalty. And again, just difficult there for Miami because there could not have been more than 0.2, 0.3 seconds left for Morozov when he laid that hit about 70, 80 feet from his own goal. There was no scoring chance to be denied, no sort of rush to speak of there. And Miami may have just been cost big time, as they're going to absolutely put one of the nation's best power plays to work headed into the third. The question is for just how much time. And this could be disastrous for a Miami team that has done so well today staying out of the box. They hadn't taken a penalty yet. This has been the most disciplined game of the season for the RedHawks. And just a key mistake as the referees are still looking at this. We're just past 9 o'clock local time here in Belfast, Northern Ireland. And the officials are skating off now to each of the respective benches to give the explanation. And it looks like the fingers pointed by the referee show 2, and they put 2 minutes up for Ilya Morozov. So that is a massive break for Miami, as not only is their tied for leading scorer Ilya Morozov allowed to stay in the game, but the RedHawks have to kill just a 2-minute penalty instead of a 5. And again, we have seen a lot of those type of hits this weekend that have been called for just 2 minutes, but that one was made with a lot more force by a big body at 6'3", 205 in Ilya Morozov. And so the RedHawks get something of a break for that to be just a 2-minute penalty, but they will have to kill against one of the nation's best power play units in Union, clicking at 25.8%, 16 for 62 this year. A full 2-minute power play to look forward to for the Garnet Chargers coming out of the break. But that has brought us to the second intermission, final regulation period. And this has been a real fun one. This is going to be a great finish as well here from Belfast. Championship game of the Friendship 4 in 2025. And the score after 40 minutes, Miami 2 and Union 1. We're back to SSC Arena after the break. You're listening to Miami Hockey at the Friendship 4 on Red Hawk Radio. Third period about to begin here from SSE Arena Belfast in Northern Ireland. Miami leads Union in the championship game of the Friendship 4 by a score of 2-1. Lucas Poley back with you here from across in Europe. Scoring summary from the opening 40 minutes of play. Miami has taken a lead now into both intermissions. RedHawks got things started at the 13:02 mark of the first. Mateo Giampa scored a goal off the rush. Ilya Morozov on the initial assist, and Michael Quinn got the secondary to make it 1-0 Miami. That's how the teams went to the locker room after the first. In the second period, Union tied the game, 4:18 in, after killing a couple of penalties to start the period. Etienne Lassard gets the goal. Again, 4:18 into the period to even the game at 1. Tyler Dunbar and Alex Lorenza picked up the assist for the Garnet Chargers. And then following the goal, a couple of good shifts for Union, but Miami's second line lifted them out of a rut. And then it was the third line that cashed in on the power play. The second unit, Kasper Nassen, on the left wing with a bomb of a one-time shot from the top of the left circle. And he beats Cameron Corpy to make it 2-1 RedHawks. That came 10:06 into the period. And for the RedHawks, that is the lead that they take into the third. But as noted, if you missed the end of the second period with under a second to play, a huge hit was laid at center ice by Ilya Morozov, who had been throwing his body around on the final shift. Time was winding down, and Union threw a long stretch pass forward to their offensive blue line. It was caught by Ben Muthersbaugh, and he got spun around and blasted in the numbers by Ilya Morozov, who picked up the penalty. They reviewed it for a long time. Miami can consider themselves very fortunate. It's just a 2-minute penalty to Morozov, so he's not out of the game. And against a top 10 power play in the country, Miami has to kill just 2 minutes. It's the first penalty that the RedHawks have taken tonight. And with the 20 minutes on the clock for the third period, Miami will have a full penalty kill to start. Ethan Hay draws swords with Colby MacArthur to get us started. Union in the all-black going right to left. Miami in the red and white going left to right. Hay wins the draw, and we are underway in the third as Kyle LeCoyne skates it to the far side, waits for the pressure, and throws it into the Union end. Underway in the first time again we see this Union power play on the season. 16 power play goals and over 25% on the year. Brought into the offensive zone by Brandon Bury. Wraps it around to the near side, where it was held in on the left point by Alex Lorenza. He tucks it in deep. It's whacked towards the front of the net by Brandon Bury, but the puck is stood up and put right back against the end wall, where a fight for it ensues, and it's pulled out by the Chargers. On the right point, Dunbar walks across. Hands off for MacArthur. MacArthur, top of the left circle, fumbled it. It was chipped off his stick. He knocked it down and then threw it at the net. Miami grabs it and clears it partway out. Bradley Walker gets to the loose puck, and the RedHawks clear it the rest of the way down. And that gets Miami through the first minute of this power play, as the RedHawks still have one more to kill. Run up the left alley by Felicio. He feeds on the far side, and an excellent takeaway by David Deputy, who just had a clean strip of the puck, working against Nate Hanley, and Deputy clears. 40 seconds remaining on the penalty to Morozov. Miami leading it 2-1 early in the third. Muthersbaugh into the offensive zone. Good to see him back out there. He leaves it for Tyler Dunbar. Left point now, Felicio with a shot. That's wide. And the RedHawks win a 2-on-1 battle on the puck in the corner, and it's backhanded all the way down the ice with 18 seconds remaining on the penalty to Morozov. Tyler Dunbar saunters his way through the neutral zone, entered the zone for a moment, but then sent it back out to mid-ice. Union now whips it around to the near side, where it's tapped in and around by the Garnet Chargers. Morozov out of the box. That's a successful kill for Miami as Union tries to go low to high, but Muthersbaugh couldn't pull it off the end boards, and now a 2-on-2 rush for Miami forward. Ahead it's Morozov. Down the center, Morozov waits, shoots, throws it out in front. He just kind of shot it and then whacked at it, and Dunbar grabbed it right in front of his goal and dragged it all the way to the neutral zone. Miami back in. It's Giampa down the left side. He got thrown into the wall, and DJ Hart took out Coach Adelic in the process. That's a double 2-for-1 on the hit But the RedHawks keep it in the offensive zone. Morozov goes to the far side. McEwen with a wrister. That's blockered down by Korpi. Delic having trouble settling a bouncing puck along the right side, and he loses it, and now it's taken up the ice by Union, but a good defensive hit by McEwen to free it up. Union, meanwhile, carries it out in front, and it's stick handled all the way to the back door, where Drobak made a huge save against Troy Pelton. That puck just squirted out of the pile right to Pelton all alone in front. Handled it to the back door, and it was kicked away by Drobak. Miami gets it back out to the middle of the ice. Carried back in by the Garnet Chargers down the left wing. Brought in by Connor Smith. Blows a tire in the corner. There's a stick that's gone flying. That belongs to Drobak in Miami's net. Up to the point. A shot sent in. It trickles down. They score. Tyler Pelton had the shot from the point. Looked like Drobak made the initial save, but it's tapped in by Connor Smith as Miami's stickless goalie made the first stop, but it looked like that puck just dropped straight down, and Union ties the game with 16:36 remaining. 7th goal of the season for Connor Smith, the sophomore from Hugo, Minnesota. And Union levels for the second time. So not on the power play, but using some of that power play momentum. And Union beats Mateo Drobak. Shots now even at 19. And the game even at 2 aside. As now officials are picking up some pieces of something. It might be ice or fibers or something of the like. And tossing it into the penalty box. They're looking all over the place for different shards. It should be noted, if you're wondering why things were a little off timing-wise, they were having some ice issues. So before the first game, the ice crew here at SSE Arena accidentally left a peg in the ice when they went to cut it, ran it over with a Zamboni, and the Zamboni stopped. It then mowed the ice down in one of the creases all the way down to the concrete, so they had to build it back up. Then they also had a pane of glass break in the first game, and so that led to the long delay. But now we're back going after they clear the rubble off the ice. And Miami pushes it into the offensive zone. Lukashevich into the corner. It comes up the wall where Grimes tried to tuck it in front. Stupka dives, finds it back. Grimes with a backhander. First save made. Rebound pops out to the high slot. Cleared but not all the way out. Now Lukashevich with a shot in front. That's blocked with the skate. And it's taken the other way by Union. A step to the right side by Brandon Buer, and he fired that wide from the high slot. Garnet Chargers send it down the left wall. Kicked up the boards by Miami now as Grimes skates it out to neutral ice. Taken away from him, though, and chipped in by Lucas Buziel. Buziel goes hard into the wall on the forecheck as the puck rolls to the far side. Up the boards it goes, tied up in skates, pulled out by Miami. And fired right back in by Union after the clearance. McCoy tried to flip it out. He didn't get much on it. As now Ryder Thompson goes after it in the near corner. Puck comes up the boards where it's held in by Tyler Dunbar. Now Dunbar lost it. Potential to break it the other way for Miami. Dunbar's without a stick. Giampa gets bumped. Miami never entered the zone, but they whistle for offside as Giampa went up the ice. There was a stick that went flying. The RedHawks got tangled up along the near wall on the rush. Giampa then entered the zone early and got bumped as he was trying to head back out of the zone by a couple of Union players. But Ilya Morozov looked like he was ready for that and never actually brought that puck into the zone, but the linesman saw it differently and whistled that play dead for offside. So that brings a neutralized draw, and it's controlled by Union as they go D to D to the far side, and DJ Hart plays it diagonally to the near wing for Ben Muthersbaum. Cross corner dump to the far wing. Kyle Lecoyne up the ice for Miami, breaks it to the far side. Morozov, area pass to the near wing. That's whacked back the other way for Sean McEwen. Now Union with a takeaway out near mid-ice. A little bit of a mini rush, a big hit thrown there by the Garnet Chargers, a reverse hit against Sean McEwen as the puck just goes flying away below the goal line. Now McEwen runs it down in space on the near wing and just brings out the shovel and sends it out to center. Back the other way, Hanley drags and shoots from the high slot, and that's wide of the net. Cross-ice pass for the RedHawks found Mikan along the left point, but it's poked off his stick before he can clear. Now Mikan with eyes up the ice. He pushes it forward, but can't get it through, and Ethan Hay sent it further along for Bradley Walker to dump it rest of the way in. Miami goes for changes as Union goes back up the ice. Twisted in the direction of the net by Carter Corpy, but that's stood up with the skate by Ryder Thompson. Puck then goes up the wall, and both players, one for each team, fighting for it, trying to grab it. It hit off their hands and went over the glass out of play in the Miami defensive zone, so the faceoff stays there. RedHawks can change, though, with 13:54 remaining in the third period. And the game tied at 2. Connor Smith with an unassisted goal for Union at the 3:24 mark. That's tied the game, and off the face-off, it's one right back to Carter Corpy, who shoots it wide from the top of the left circle. Ricochet is out to neutral ice. Union back in on a quick regroup. Fired around the wall. Lukashevich on it along with Smith. Miami breaks it up the ice, and Deputy dodges around the first defender. Then Deputy skates in. He was trying to walk down the blue line, and Smith got bumped in offside, but they're going to call that, I believe, for interference. Union's going to the kill here, it appears. Or rather, they're getting Helgeson. Helgeson's gone to the box. And now Miami's got a kill here with 13:34 to go. That was on the rush up the ice. And Helgeson, who was the teammate involved, is called for, I believe, holding there. Anthony Noreen is screaming for an official to come over to the bench and explain to him what just happened. But Miami, who looked like they would go to the power play, now has to kill off a penalty for the second time in this period. Their first kill looked good, but you are playing with fire against this Union power play. You now have a chance to take the lead with 13:34 to play. So the RedHawks go to the kill. It's that tie-up along the blue line. RedHawks win the face-off and throw it down the ice. And they actually get Helgeson for interference. It's like a call that could have kind of gone either way. And so Miami has to kill their second penalty of the night. And Union brings it into the offensive end. Top unit out there for the Garnet Chargers. Or ITN Lassard, rather, to the far wall. Went through the legs of Lorenza. He tracks it down in the corner. Lorenza now in the circle, walks through, tried to shoot it. He stood up by Walker. Run the other way for Walker. He's got 3 black jerseys in front of him. He crosses the red. Didn't need to on the PK, but just kills some time and dumps it down. 44 seconds gone by, and the penalty to Max Helgeson for interference. Puck is left in the left alley for Lindauer. He plays it across for a dangle through traffic and a backhander from a sharp angle by Buer, and he flicked it high. Now Buer in the corner surveys the ice, threw it in front towards the back door, and that slid right through the blue paint. Union on it on the far wall. It comes up to the point. Rister through traffic, tipped in front by Lindauer. Drobach makes the save. Still along the wall. Buer was climbing down the wall, and now we've got an interference penalty, and it's on Union. They ran a little pick play on the wall, and the referees called it. Well, the Union power play is not happy. The 5 guys on the ice right now. That was a set play, it looked like, going down the wall, and they just ran a little pick action with MacArthur setting one up for Brandon Buer. And that's not a penalty you see called a ton, but it is called here. So that leads to now 48 seconds of 4-on-4 time with the game tied at 2, followed by a minute 12 of RedHawk power play. 12:21 remains in the third period, as we are even in the finals of the Friendship 4. Stupka on the draw for Miami. He loses it to Nate Hanley of Union. And now the Garnet Chargers skated up the ice. Tyler Dunbar down the left wing. He gave it away. A coin, though, just doubles back on it as he didn't have momentum forward. That was almost a breakaway if he had a little more speed. Instead, he just backs it up, and now Miami sets up through the neutral zone. Dumped into the offensive end by Doug Grimes. Dunbar leaves it behind along the near wing. It's chipped through the middle of the ice. And now thrown across to the far wing where it's tapped in by Will Felicio. He goes down to the corner of the offensive zone. Low to high play for a wide open shot in front. It's fired wide by Dunbar. Union still with it now. And a pass is fanned onto the middle by Hanley. The puck leaks out to the neutral zone with 3 seconds, 2 and 1 gone. RedHawks get a steal. Helgeson's out of the box. He wanted the puck, but Miami just didn't see him as they were changing. And now they're on a power play for the next minute 6. RedHawks get it into the offensive zone very briefly, but Delik's pass intercepted over the blue line and chipped the other way. So now Delik heads back in, down the right wing. It's danced in by Morozov, and he leaves it behind for David Deputy. Deputy up to the right point. Thompson now into the circle. Deputy. Thompson with a one-time blast. That sizzles wide. Picked up by Deputy on the far half wall. 40 seconds to go on the penalty. Deputy with a sharp angle shot. Turned away by Corpy. Left point, it's Thompson. Puck between his legs. He finds Delik. Banks it off the near wall for Morozov. Morozov, a hot pass up to the point. Handled by Delik. Thompson and Delik switch sides. Thompson with the puck. Right point. Now left point, Delik. Thompson center point. 15 seconds to go in the penalty. Deputy tries to force one in front. That's deflected wide. Giampa then tries to throw it out in front, and he gets tossed into the wall, and Giampa's down. He now gets back up to his feet. RedHawks are still on it. Delik in the circle, drags down for Morozov. Morozov shoots, and it's gloved up by Corpy as the penalty comes to an end. And Giampa involved in some extracurriculars, and I think Giampa just took a penalty. Well, Giampa got, I think, bumped after the whistle, and he retaliated, and they're taking Giampa, but I think they're going to take both guys. And they are. They bring Lucas Buzial to his feet, and that is another massive break for Miami as Giampa slashed Buzial right in the back of the leg, and Buzial did a little bit of acting on the end, but it was right in front of the referee, something that has to be called. But luckily for the RedHawks, they get them both, and that takes us to a timeout on the ice. Nervy moments inside SSC Arena. Teams taking penalties, special teams a factor here in the third as Union has tied the game. 2-2 our score with 10:17 to go in the third period. And we'll step aside as the officials go to the monitor to check on everything. And you're listening to the finals of the Friendship 4 in Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. .10:17 remaining in the third period. Brought you back a little early here to SSC Arena Belfast. Score Miami 2 and Union 2. And just prior to the break, skirmish after the whistle and led to a slash by Mateo Giampa against Lucas Buzial. And he went down right in front of the referee, but they called Buzial for something earlier on that kind of caused that retaliatory action. And so both guys are in the box, but now the referees are at the monitor. And the question is, prior to that entire thing, Giampa got run into the wall behind the net really hard. He was initially down in a heap, but popped up to his feet. If not for anything else, I think just to keep play going for Miami, who was on a power play at the time. Union killed it. And now we skate 5 aside for the moment, but they have to sort out these penalties first. Haven't put up any time on the clock in this tie hockey game. But the question is, maybe is there something more on that hit behind the net? They also will likely look at that play after the whistle just to make sure nothing egregious went on. But you can, despite having no call on the ice, call for a 5 in game. Referee, though, coming out of the box and just kind of waves his hand to the side, I think to say that there's nothing more. Now, again, we don't have ref mics here, so we're not sure if that was a Miami challenge or not. Referees went right over to Anthony Noreen to explain to him first. So we'll see. They have now put the penalty times up on the clock for Buziol along with Mateo Giampa. And what that means is we have 4-on-4 hockey, which we just played a little over a minute of. It was mostly controlled by Union. But a full 2 minutes of 4-on-4 action coming up with 10-17 remaining in a tied game at 2. In the finals of the Friendship 4, this tournament has delivered. Started off with a great game if you're a Union fan, but a bit of a dud in terms of closeness and tight checking action. But since then, this tournament has delivered. 2 great games after that, and this final has been the best game we've seen this weekend. Offensive zone draw for Miami. Ilya Morozov wins it for the RedHawks, and we move back underway as Ryder Thompson drags and shoots from the left point. Snapped up by Corpy, and he hangs on with 5 seconds elapsed on the 4-on-4. That's Miami's 23rd shot on goal. They now lead by 1 in the shot department. We're tied at 2. Working against, again, Cameron Corpy, .921 save percentage, 1.77 goals against average. Face-off controlled by the Garnet Chargers in their defensive zone, and they put it behind the goal line. Both guys go for roughing. Or rather, Giampa's a slashing call as it's dumped into the offensive end by Union. RedHawks grab it behind their goal line, and Ilya Morozov taps it against the end boards for Ryder Thompson. Vlad Lukashevich bumped along the near boards. Union with a takeaway. They had a man breaking out in front. That was Dunbar, but the puck was flying down below the goal line, and now it's tossed out to the neutral zone where a one-on-one ensues here for Kocha Delic. He dangled through his man, but lost the puck in the process as it flies below the goal line. Delic goes up the half wall for Morozov. Now up top, it's Phelan. Phelan waits, goes down the boards, and now Delic with a one-timer and a great pad save made by Corpy. 2-on-2 rush the other way for Union. Down the middle of the ice, a dragon shot flies high and wide for Lassard. And the RedHawks come away with possession, but a pass doesn't hook up cleanly, going from a coin to Delic, and it's down for icing. Minute 12 gone by in the 4-on-4. 9:04 remaining in the third. Miami had one of their best chances of the period moments ago off that high slot one-timer from Delic. Just caught the edge of the pad for Corpy. Shooting against the grain there for Delic. That keeps it tied at 2. 48 seconds again remaining in the 4-on-4. 9:04 remaining in the game. Face-off win for Union, but the puck trickles outside the blue line, and so the Chargers have to regroup. They turn it over now in the neutral zone, trying to get it back in, and now David Deputy with speed down the left side. Deputy steps to the net front, and he's stuffed at the post by Corpy. He went to the back post on the nifty handle, and Corpy stood him up. Dumped in now by the Garnet Chargers into the offensive zone with 20 seconds to play in the 4-on-4. Brought out by Smith going the other way for Miami. Smith turns it around, tried to throw it in front. He lost it. Now Lalonde high slot, drags and shoots. It goes just wide. McEwen on it way down low for Miami. He's bumped away, and the Garnet Chargers take over. 3 seconds, 2 and 1. Both guys out of the box as Union brings it up ice. Giampa's a free man. Dangled to the front of the net. And a good effort there off a diving play by Hanley, but he can't get it on goal, and the RedHawks take it back. Giampa down the left wing, shoots one from a sharp angle, save made. Rebound picked up by Helgeson. Helgeson in the corner, has it poked through his legs, and now it's Nick Young for Union behind the net. He taps it along the near wall. Puck flew up into the air. It's settled down by Young and the Chargers, who work below the goal line. 7:42 remaining third period. It's 2-2. Union takes it out in front of their own net, and it's Nick Young down the far side, who tried to thread a pass just past the red line, looking for a tip-in, but it was missed. And it's down for icing on the Chargers with 7:34 remaining. Well, this local crowd has delivered. The community of Belfast, who we had heard really loves this tournament, they have showed out in a big way. The atmosphere has been electric for this final game. And they are starting to get real loud into the late stages of this one. Face-off win for the Garnet Chargers in their defensive zone. It's taken up the far wall by Will Felicio. He gets out into the neutral zone before he loses it. And Bradley Walker tried to swing it back into the offensive zone, and the puck just popped up into the stands, and now Felicio gets tangled up, I believe, with Helgeson over there. And so the two kind of push and shove. Rather, that's Doug Grimes for Miami as the puck went up into the seats. And we get a stoppage with 7:26 remaining in the third period. Well, a final media timeout. And we'll stay here for it from SSE Arena. 2-2 with 7:26 to go. And just wanted to take a moment while we have a second to issue out some thank yous to the folks that made this possible and the folks that orchestrate this tournament. Heard some great things about the Friendship Four. That's why it's been running for so long. This is obviously a very big undertaking to bring 4 teams abroad and to a place like this here in Belfast where almost none of them have been before. And Union, the only team that's looking to win it for a second time, the only repeat participant. And no matter who you've talked to this weekend, from a media standpoint, broadcasters, team staff, coaches, players, everybody, the fans that have made the journey, this has been an incredible experience for everyone involved, and one that Anthony Noreen said when it was brought up as a possibility by athletic director David Saylor, they jumped at. And one that I'm sure if they get another opportunity in the future, they would love to participate in again. The off-ice activities over the last week have been tremendous. The attention shifted this weekend to the hockey, and it has delivered as well. Neutral zone face-off coming up on the far side of the ice, right by Union's defensive blue line. 7.5 to go. Tie hockey game at 2, and the face-off controlled by the Garnet Chargers. Tipped into the offensive zone by Union. Kyle Lecoyne rounds the net for Miami and banks it off the wall for Ilya Morozov at neutral ice. Torn off of Morozov's stick. It's floated off the shelf of the boards and settled down by Miami, and Lecoyne who finds Morozov down the left wing. Morozov enters the zone, throws it across for Giampa. Took a hard kick off his skate, and that pops it the other way for Union. It's taken forward and just dumped in by the Garnet Chargers as Drobak thought about going out, but instead retreats back inside his net. And the RedHawks outlet it to center. Run into the offensive zone by Morozov with some clever stick work. He just backhands it parallel to the goal line across the slot. That flies to the far boards. Miami whips it around the near wing. Owen Lalonde gets crunched against the wall. And the puck goes the way of Union, but they give it away on the attempt to clear. Sean McEwen pinches in for Miami and has it in the far corner. McEwen escapes out, leaves it for Delic. He chips it further in. Now the puck wrapped around to the near wall where Lalonde pulls back, and that allows an easy skate out for Lindauer to the neutral zone. Lindauer crosses the blue line, heads left, leaves it down the center, now gets a return feed in the corner from MacArthur. Hoping to slip it back to him in front, but couldn't do so. Now a shot from the right side. Point was deflected in front by Lindauer, but it's wide. Deputy chops it along the near wall. RedHawks outlet it to center, and Helgeson turns it into the offensive end with 5:50 to play. On the near boards, it's Carter Rose for Union. Surveys up the ice. Feeds a short pass forward for MacArthur. He gives it back to Rose, who goes further across the ice for Will Felicio, or rather that's DJ Hart, who dumps it in. Now Miami gives it away right in front of their net. It's thrown across to nobody there by Carter Corpy, and now the RedHawks break the other way. Grimes coming in without numbers. He shoots from a sharp angle. Corpy makes the stop as Grimes rings it up the far boards. Thompson plays it in behind the net. Nassen comes out of the corner with it. Nassen handling up for Thompson with a one-timer gobbled up by Corpy. And he freezes it with 5:13 to go, third period. And the adrenaline has just continued to kick for the folks in this building. This has been some kind of game and some kind of third specifically. Offensive zone draw coming up on the right wing for Miami. RedHawks run out the fourth line. Hay, Mikan, and Walker against the third line. Muthersbaugh, Lorenza, and Hanley for Union. Face-off win for the RedHawks. Walker with a shot for the top of the circle. That's blocked. And Muthersbaugh pulls it out of the zone. Takes a hit in the process, but does clear. Tipped back in for the RedHawks by Mikan. As we move under 5 minutes to play, RedHawks with a takeaway in the offensive zone. Walker heads in behind the net. He gets tossed into the wall with a big hit by a heavy Union team. It was Lorenza that time to toss him into the end boards. Puck plugged up along the wall on the far side. Pulled out by Union. Hanley backtracks. Circles around his own net. And on the far wing, just sauces it through center, where the RedHawks immediately tip it back in. It's gloved out of the air by Union, but right on the stick of Walker, who drives the front of the net. Walker tried to thread between two defensemen. He's stripped by Cal Mell. Mell tagged along the near wall by Walker, but gets it up the boards for Hanley, who handles it through a tight spot and now feeds it forward. And a lane for Tyler Dunbar down the left side. Leaves it for a shot off the right side of the net on the one-timer by Muthersbaugh. RedHawks bring it free and tried to hit Mateo Giampa at the offensive blue line, but it went right to Union, who then iced the puck going the other way. Just clear it down, and the RedHawks have an offensive zone draw in their future with 4:04 remaining in the third period and a 2-2 score. Or will they? I think they're going to wave this icing off. The referees are meeting right now and pointing to the center ice dot. And that is indeed where the faceoff will be conducted. So Anthony Noreen gets his explanation. Miami's top line out there. And Union's second line out, and Ilya Morozov wins the faceoff for Miami, who lifts it into the offensive end. But it's quickly evaded out by the Garnet Chargers, and Bruick dumps it into the offensive side. Puck rings around the far wall off the clear by Drobak. It hit off a stanchion, and that split between two defenders, and now loose puck hopped on by Giampa. Drives down the right side, shoots, deflection in front. They score! They score! .338 to go, and Miami leads. Giampa's leading the line. Corpy made the initial save, but the puck popped up in the air, and it looked like it hit off of a Garnet Charger. That may have been Bruick coming back to try and stop that puck from falling in the crease. And it goes in for Miami with 3.5 remaining. Incredible. So Giampa gets the goal, was just looking for something, put it on net, hoping for a bounce, and he got it. It hits off of a back-checking Garnet Charger, and the RedHawks lead with 3.5 to go. Miami's led 1-0, 2-1, and now 3-2. 3:30 remains as the Garnet Chargers get it into the offensive end. The RedHawks cleared it out, though, quickly, and almost popped it to Justin Stupka for a breakaway going the other direction as Nick Young couldn't hold the zone, but he couldn't get there in time, and now Union just regrouping. They miss on a pass up the far side, hoping to hit a home run to Buer. And it ricochets off the far wall and down for icing with 3:14 remaining. Union has their timeout. And now we're in the territory where you might pull the goalie here. Sean Hauge keeping the timeout in the pocket for now, saving it for likely about a minute or so from now. But despite an offensive zone or defensive zone faceoff won by Union, they can't clear, and David Deputy takes it behind the net. Deputy doing great work, just shielding possession of the puck. He brings it into the corner as we move under 3 minutes to go. It's cleared out by Union, but grabbed on the point by Ryder Thompson just beyond the blue line, and he fires it back in. Down the left side goes Felicio. Clever stick work to get down the middle of the ice. Felicio into the offensive end. He took a shot, glanced off the bottom of Drobak's glove, and ends up behind the net. Miami goes up the near side. They chip it down the wall. It's headed down. It is icing on the RedHawks with 2:35 remaining. And we'll see what Anthony Noreen now does. Looks like Miami's got a pretty fresh set of 5 legs out there. Doesn't look like anybody's been out there for too long. And Anthony Noreen spends the timeout expressing displeasure for something with Brian Hankes. 2:35 remaining. RedHawks go up a goal, and the goalie has been pulled. Corpy goes off for Union. And they've got 6 guys on the ice. They've stacked 2 on the left wing for this offensive zone faceoff. Face-off win for the Garnet Chargers, and it's pulled back to the left point for Will Felicio. Felicio back on it. Looks to the far side. And now it's put into the corner for Lindauer. Center point Dunbar. Looks to the far side. One-timer from there. Skitters wide. And now it comes up to the left point for Felicio. Back into the middle for another one-timer from the far wing. And again wide. Now a cross-ice pass for a third one-time shot. It's stopped by Drobach. Puck sat on the stick of Helgeson, but he fanned on the clear. 2:03 to go. At the point, it's held onto by Union. Dunbar, center point to the far corner. And now a one-time shot for the top of the circle. Sizzles high for Hanley. Now it's just tossed at goal there by Felicio. 2 RedHawks try to glove it down. Neither could. Garnet Chargers have it along the far wall. Put up to the point by Dunbar. Dunbar into the circle on the far wing. Now gets it back center point. He shoots it through traffic. It deflected high. Miami taps it along the near wall, but again not out. And now Hanley shoots it on. That hit something in front and ended up in the corner. Directed by Buziel down into the corner, and Union misses on a pass going up to the point. It leaks out into the neutral zone with 1:19 to play. Brought right back in for a one-time shot from the high slot, and it's wide for Lindauer. 1:10 to go. Up the near wall it comes for Union, and now thrown across to the far side where it's held in by MacArthur. Up against the end wall. MacArthur throws it to the middle. Brought behind the net by the Garnet Chargers. Thrown out in front. Scramble for it. It's blocked down by Drobach. Still loose somewhere. It's behind the net. Drobach down. He doesn't have a stick. Now in the right circle. Shot deflects wide. RedHawks get on to it. It's pushed up against the end boards by Thompson with 38 seconds to go. On the right point. Held on to by Dunbar. Now flung across. Felicio walks it down. Dunbar couldn't handle the pass from him. Center point. It goes down the ice. 26 seconds remain. Miami can finally get fresh legs on. Union brings it back up with 21. Down the right side comes Felicio. He fumbled it. It's tapped forward by the RedHawks, and Walker short of icing with 15 to go. Picked up by Union. Felicio brings it ahead. Crosses the line on the left wing. Beer gets stripped of the puck. 6 seconds to go. Lukashevich on it. Now it's thrown through traffic in front. MacArthur got a stick on it. Directs it wide. 2 seconds and 1. And that's it. One of the most thrilling periods of Miami hockey in some time, and the RedHawks survive an absolute mad dash to the finish line and win the Friendship 4, taking down Union in the championship game by a score of 3-2. Well, Miami endured so much over the course of that game. 3 separate leads, and finally one stands up. And the RedHawks pick up a quality win over a ranked opponent. This is a real good Union team that made Miami fight right to the finish. But the RedHawks, after losing all the momentum and goodwill they built up over the course of this game, take the lead off a fortuitous bounce in front with 3.5 to go. Mateo Giampa scores his 2nd goal of the game, takes the team lead with his 8th of the season. And Miami survives 3.5 full minutes of just absolutely ridiculous 6-on-5 play. Chances galore for Union, who likely feel they did all they could with the goalie out to get that equalizing goal. Mateo Drobach made some absolutely massive saves, some scramble drills. He lost his stick twice in the final minutes. But Miami tosses the sticks, helmets, and gloves, and the RedHawks celebrate their first ever trip to Belfast, Northern Ireland by ringing the bell. The RedHawks are champions of the Friendship 4 here in 2025. Hugs and smiles on the Miami side, and again, something that can be built on for a very successful season. We have seen it. We have seen the Quinnipiac Bobcats even go on in the most extreme case to win a national title a few years ago after winning this tournament. But the teams shake hands out at center ice after one of the better played games we have seen for both teams this season. And the RedHawks just survive an absolute furious attack at the end from Union. And it's going to be a fun plane ride back to Cleveland, bus ride back to Oxford on the horizon tomorrow for Miami, as they are champions of the Friendship Four. 2 goals for Matteo Giampa tonight, 2 assist night for Michael Quinn, who was tremendous in his playmaking for the RedHawks at the point. The RedHawks on back-to-back nights score a power play goal against a top 3 penalty kill in the country. Both RIT and Union. And much deserved celebrations, and for a program that's fallen on some pretty well documented difficult times over the last decade since their successes in the late 2000s. You could feel this upward trend climbing for Miami, but this really feels like it could be a crux in this turning point for the RedHawk rebuild, as Miami stays perfect now, 8-0 against non-conference opponents this season. The RedHawks have a chance coming up in 1 month's time to finish out the year perfect, at the very least in the regular season, against teams outside the NCHC when they head to the Great Lakes Invitational with a 4-team field of Michigan Tech, Ferris State, Miami, and Michigan State. But how about these RedHawks? Looks like Miami hockey may finally be headed back to the heights we've been hoping for a very long time. Both teams met up on their respective blue lines for the postseason awards, and we'll toss off to the public address for the presentations of Player of the Game. And this has been a presentation of Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. More on the way coming up next.